behalf, we'd like to introduce you to the president of Infinite Wealth Advisors, Kevin Sullivan. Kevin, thank you for being here, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me.
So, Kevin, you weren't invited. You understand that, don't you?
I know that.
You were not invited to this. Robin Whitlock was invited. Robin, thank you for being here.
But she needed somebody to carry your.
window
She needed somebody to carry your bag today, so that was me.
and drive me here.
So I'm picking on Kevin on that.
My chauffeur,
it's okay.
my chauffeur caps in the car.
Infinite Wealth Advisors. Which one of you two want to take it? How would you describe the business?
Well, I mean, we're a wealth management company. I think what differentiates us from a lot of other people, and to Danny's point from earlier, we have a philosophy at the office called same day response, next day resolution, and that happens with not only things that are ongoing with the client, but new clients that are coming in. And that is that our team is required and they're responsible for immediately responding to client needs and and any service items that are out there that need to be done.
That's
money
important.
moved around.
Very important.
Yeah, and it's critical. And we talk about that pretty much at every single staff meeting.
We did that today.
Yep, it's something that I brought from my time at. So it's a second career for me, but it's something I brought from my time at Siemens Health Systems. I ran consulting for them for the East Coast, and we had same day response, next day resolution, and we took a business that was basically running around $3 to $4 million a year of revenue, and in 3 years turned it into a $25 million enterprise.
So, Kevin, just so you know, Julie, Julie's on the book, and she wanted to remind me you were invited. She wanted to make sure that you knew that.
Yeah, Robin invited me. She said, "Hey, can you carry my bag and drive me?"
We have a Julie too that we adore.
That's right. Everybody needs a Julie.
Everybody needs a Julie.
Everybody's got to have a Julie.
So Julie's got your back, Kevin. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Julie.
I appreciate it. Julie has also taken your website information and got it on the book for you. So
Great.
those of you that are on the book, you can click on that directly.
Thank you again, Julie.
Yes.
So, Robin, I think I saw your information on Lake Norman Woman magazine.
Yes, you did. You did.
I can't remember what it was, but something was inspirational or inspiring. Kevin was making fun of me that I said that to you earlier, but
I would never do that.
Well, and if it was Lake Norman Woman magazine,
do you remember
that's
what
been
that article was? Because I can't
years.
remember.
That's been several years. We've had some recent articles which may have piqued your interest too, with some estate planning and how we run our practice, but in particular, I believe the Lake Norman Woman magazine, it just went through my history, my background. I came from a small town, moved here in 1993, got into financial services, started a little accounting business, which is where Kevin and I came to know one another. During that process, got married, had a son. I also take care of my mother. She's actually here in a local facility, so maybe one of those tidbits probably.
So let me ask a question. Did you wake up on a Tuesday and just decide I wanted to start counting people's money and keeping track of it? How does that happen that you end up being a financial planner?
That's a good question.
That is
an excellent question.
Kevin,
I'm
do you want to? While she's thinking about it, do you want to take it?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you exactly how I did it. I mean, it was, I spent 20 years in the healthcare industry, traveled all around the country, worked at the South Tower of the World Trade Center for about 4 years before they blew it up. Was there for the first bombing when the white van and the elevator shaft, so I was there for that. Had a big team there. When I turned 40, my midlife crisis was not a new Porsche, but it was a career change. I had had enough. I'd flown about almost 2 million miles, and I was leaving on Sundays and coming home on Friday nights, and Saturdays were relegated to doing wash and picking my clothes up at the cleaners. And so I ran into somebody who was in the financial services world, spent some time with them. Had dabbled with financial services just with my own personal money, as well as some relatives, my mom, and I hung a shingle out.
Well, and I think to follow up on that, now that I've had some time to think, no, but I was doing accounting, and I would have clients that would come in to me and show me their tax returns and then start asking me questions about their investments. And at the time, I didn't have the credentials. So one thing kind of led to another. I was doing some accounting, doing income tax prep work, and then got the credentials to do the investments, and then stacked on some other credentials. So just, here
It's kind of
almost
evolved.
20 years later,
Yeah.
it kind of evolved to a full service planning firm, which is really important to both of us because when we want someone to come in, as I always say in the office, and everyone laughs, but it's about the relationship. We can do all of these things every day, but it's about the relationship that we establish with
Yeah,
the,
but
So let's talk about that, because I hear this a lot with service providers to small business people. If you don't create a relationship before they need it, they're not going to ask you till it's too late. For example,
yes.
my clients, Danny, they ask for an attorney 2 days before the closing. They ask for an accountant 2 days after the closing, right? Then it's 2 weeks later when the check is still in the bank that they say, do you have a financial planner that maybe I can talk with, Joe? And it's not till they're feeling sick and they're in the hospital, they call and say, do you have an estate planner? Maybe I ought to figure something out, right? And so
That's true.
I
That's
ask
true.
myself, why is this that these small business people most of the time always forward thinking, always thinking about the next thing they need to do? They won't do this for themselves personally.
You know why? It's
I'd love to hear that.
It's because we as small business owners are so busy trying to conduct business and grow the business, and we're always looking forward. But just like the accountant, we don't have our own house in order, or the financial planner don't have our house in order.
Look, and it's
So-
real, and to me, it's just real simple. I mean, it's you don't know what you don't know, and so you're focused on running the business, making sure you're making payroll. We have a bunch of small businesses as clients, and every one of them we have we are not transactional. And when people want to come in and they want to be transactional with us, we're probably not boarding them as a client. We're interested in the relationship.
right,
We
the
want
relationship.
we want them to lean on us. We want them to ask us questions.
And I want them to have a financial planner and estate planner because it makes the decision making easier
Yes,
when they
yes.
get an offer, right? Or I don't want them to ask the broker, well, what do you think? Well, I can tell you what I think about the deal and how it was related to the value of the business, but I can't tell you what that deal structure looks like for your financial purpose. And that's where they need a team to be able to
Yes.
go back to and ask the
Are
question.
they going to come back and have buyer's remorse or seller's remorse,
Yeah. That's
even
right.
worse?
That's right.
And saying, "Oh, I could have got more for this," and they're listening to their neighbor who says, "Oh, you should have sold the business for a 4x instead of a 2x,
Yep.
or a 9x instead of a 6x," and so that's problematic. So
But
again,
we do a good job of letting our clients and prospective clients know that it is a full service. You come to us. If we can't help you, we have good referral partners, attorneys, because with the estate planning, you need some attorneys. We've got good referral partners. So we coach them. Come to us, ask us. You can trust us. I think, in our credentials.
and we're accessible.
Yes.
I mean, that's
And
the other
yes.
thing is that most people are not accessible. It's like you call, you talk to, nothing wrong with Julie, nothing against you guys, but when a client calls and they need something or they have a question, they don't want to talk to somebody who's one of the team members. They want to talk
Yeah.
to me. They want to talk to Robin. They've got something specific. Hey, can you help me with this? And the thing
And that's
is,
what I spend my time doing,
and that's
is
the
addressing
relationship.
that. Yeah, with those clients, especially the long-time clients, and especially clients that are older business owners who are looking to transition out. I will go to their home. I will go meet them at a coffee shop. I will help them get their plan laid out for that next phase of life. It's really
Do you have a
important.
question, Danny?
Yeah, I just, in the conversation we were having with you guys before the show too, sort of the holistic nature of what you guys do, I think is really impressive, right? And as a business owner, you just said it. I just want to have someone I can call. I
Yes.
don't want to have someone to manage my investments and someone else do my insurance, someone else do. It's just, it's a huge service to just have a relationship with someone that you trust. You
Yeah.
can pick up the phone and call them when you got a question. And if maybe you're not the right person to ask, but you have a referral for me. And
That's
it's
right.
like, that's amazing.
It's very important. And of course, the people that we refer to, we have we've done our homework on them. And,
Yep.
you know, it's most of the time it's people that we've known for a long time, but we're not going to refer you to someone that's not going to.
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the things that's interesting, and people want for people to come out onto the website, they always say, "Hey, you and Robin have this thing next to your name called the designation AIF. What is that?" So what that stands for is it stands for Accredited Investment Fiduciary, and we're fiduciaries by licensure. But Robin and I have both taken the step beyond that and actually gone through the course that it takes to become an AIF, because we think it's important to be honest and forthright and trustworthy with your
Kevin,
client.
let me be clear, okay? She got more letters than you.
I know she does. She's smarter
See
than I
what
am.
they are.
That's why I wear the cap and drive.
That's right.
Yes.
Now,
Bring
Kevin,
the car around, please.
Kevin, I don't know what they are, but she got more letters
She
than
does
you.
have more letters than me. I got to work on that.
We can write somebody's name. I'm just kidding.
No, don't let her write letters for my name. Good. Who knows what she'll put there?
So I'm curious. What are you guys looking for in a buyer profile? Right? What's a good client look like?
Somebody who's looking for guidance. I mean, really.
Yes,
Somebody who's
yes.
open to looking for guidance on what they're trying to do.
Let me take a break and we'll come back.
Sure.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. Say it, Danny. Say it, say it, say it.
If it's Monday afternoon, your business matters.
Yeah. We'll be right back. I noticed on your website, you two both talk a little bit about you back and forth for here and in Arizona. Tell me a little bit about Arizona. What's in Arizona?
Our office. No, we let's see, it's been a year now. We located an office out in Scottsdale area. We had a block of clients out in that part of the country, and we have a good partner, strategic partner that's located in Scottsdale. So we kind of bit the bullet last year and put an office out there. And
Yeah, I mean,
so-
we started with just like a handful of clients out there for people that were in North Carolina, moved to Arizona, and we were referred to some family members.
Yes.
And over the last probably 8 or 9 years, those people have referred us to other people who have referred us to other people who have referred us to other people. So, you know, last summer, Robin and I were sitting down having a strategy session, and she said, "Hey, let's open an office in Scottsdale. We have enough people there." So we did. And we have a radio show that we do out there, and our podcast.
Yeah, we've got some business owners out
we have
there.
a bunch
Yeah.
of business owners that are out there. So our podcast is Wealth Over Taxes, and you can get that, you know, wherever you listen to your podcasts. But you know, it's not sales oriented; it's information.
Right.
You know, one of the big things that we try to do with clients is knowledge transfer. So there's two major things that we focus on. One is competency. Are you competent? And so, you know, it's interesting. Danny was talking about earlier about, you know, the sales process. You got to have competent people. I mean, you got to have competent people that are picking up the phone and talking to a potential client, which means they got to be smart and they got to know what they're talking about. So that's a major issue.
And you know, and I've learned that starts with us as owners.
Correct.
Training.
Yep. And we do that.
Yes, we definitely do that as business owners. We do a lot of training. In fact, some things Danny said earlier, we talk about in our
Gonna
staff
be in our next
meetings.
staff
yeah,
meeting.
We're going to revisit that in our next staff meeting. Yeah, but it's but that was to answer your question. That's how we ended up in Arizona. Plus, we've got a contingent in California, in Nevada,
Lots
in
of
Texas,
people in
New
Texas.
Mexico. So they come into Arizona because it's an easy trip for them, and it's a pretty area too.
But isn't it true? What surprised me is it seems kind of tricky because aren't different states set up differently for taxes and retirement, or
Yes,
is it all the
we
same?
have to be properly licensed in each of the
I mean, that
entities.
requires it.
Yes. Yes.
Hence, Danny, all her letters behind her name. You understand?
We have a good compliance officer too
Yeah,
that
yeah.
keeps
Yes, we
us
do.
in check.
Yeah, I mean, that can't be an easy process because if I'm asking you a question in Charlotte, North Carolina, that's a different answer in
It
Texas.
is.
Yes,
And
it
it's a
is.
different answer in Arizona.
Yes,
And it's a
yes.
very different answer in California.
Yeah, different laws, different states. I know, like Florida, there's age restrictions on types of investments that we can offer. So, we have to be very aware, and our Julie helps us with that, along with our.
Everybody needs a Julie.
Everybody does need a Julie.
Yeah, but we do. We have a good compliance officer. So before we make those transitions with clients or bring a client on board, we make sure that we're properly licensed to offer whatever the investment.
Dan, you got a question?
Yeah. So, we're all small business owners here. We're small business owners listening to this show. You guys mentioned that you work a lot with small business owners.
Yes.
And so I'm just curious, maybe a little bit of a selfish question, but what are some of the blind spots or maybe opportunities that, the small business owners who may be listening to the show might not even be aware of from a financial planning perspective?
Well, one of the items that we recognized right away, working with more small business owners, especially when, again, they're trying to just move their business forward, they've not done their own business planning, their 401ks, their life insurance, their long-term care needs. So those are things that we can bring to bear. I know we've done some just recently, we've had a handful of small businesses that have come to us because they think because they're a small firm, they can't offer these type plans for their employees. It's a good tax write-off as well as being able to offer benefits to your employees. So 401ks, life insurance.
And it's important that
Cash balance plans.
I'm sorry, what was that last
No,
name?
cash balance plans.
Right.
I mean, even beyond that, I mean, it's buy-sell agreements.
Yes.
It's succession planning. Business owners, and you know this, Joe, business owners never want to think about succession planning. What's going to happen when I leave, when I sell? If I want to leave it to my kids. Well, we've had business owners come in where we've had to do succession planning for them, and sort of lead that because the understanding was that the father's going to leave the business to the son, and the son goes, I ain't interested.
Yeah.
Man,
And
that happens more and more.
It happens a ton.
And I'll tell you something else. I tell financial planners this all the time. You need to make sure that I'm involved to give a valuation on how the business is being valued so you can work that into your
Yes.
plan so that the expectation of the seller or the current owner, they don't assume my business is going to be worth XYZ and that's how I'm going to be able to fund my retirement. It really does require a team and conversation.
It does.
It's
It
very
does.
important to have that team in place. But it is something, you're right, Kevin, that the small business, you don't think about that. You're like, I'm in growth mode. I'm just trying to grow the business. But you can do things in small steps and small stages to help you now so that when you do hit those big numbers, you've already got a plan in place.
Well, what I like to tell people is if you really have all this information, your team has given you all of this, it makes it easier for you to make the decision so your company is moving ahead in a good,
Yes.
successful way.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the challenges that I think that we see with business owners is that they're trying to do it all, and you can't.
No.
You can't. Yeah.
I mean, you're standing in a small business where the owner
Yeah.
just got done hosting the show, turned on the lights, made some coffee for me, got you some water, and he's running the board right now.
Yeah. Listen.
Good job, Justin.
Yeah. Good job, Justin. Yeah, man. Robin and I are guilty of that.
Yes,
Sometimes you get sucked into the trenches, and you know this.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You get sucked into the trenches, and the next thing you know, you're like mired down, and you can't figure out what is wrong, why you can't get to that next level or up to that next step.
And then
so
3 months are gone before you realize what happened, right?
Yeah.
That's what
That's
happens.
true.
no,
That's
that's
true.
I mean, it
Yeah.
is what happens,
Yeah.
and so again, having a team of people
Well, it
and
keeps you accountable when you have the team because
and the relationship.
Yes,
I
the
mean, the
relationship,
relationship is everything. It is not if the people you're working with are transactional, and I'm somebody who kind of speaks my mind, but if
No.
we've had to
Yeah.
work with him on
yeah,
this.
if the people that you're working with are transactional, then you need new people. Okay, because it's the relationship. It's the comfort level with
Yes.
you being able to communicate with them, and your team being able to communicate back with you, and you're making joint decisions and good decisions about the things that you're doing. I mean, that's what's going to make you successful, particularly in a transition. So,
Robin, your website again, give it to people that listen on the radio.
InfiniteWealthAdvisors.com, and that's advisors, ORS. Or you can look us up on LinkedIn, Robin Whitlock and Kevin Sullivan, or you can give us a call.
So go ahead and give that phone number.
877-281-8282.
This is radio. You got to do it twice.
877-281-8282.
She got a perfect voice, doesn't she, for radio?
You're a pro. You guys must have done this before.
So walk me through the process, because a lot of us small business people, last thing we want to do is call you and then be given a sales pitch, and life's too short for that. So
It is
walk me
too
through what that
short,
looks like.
yes.
So the no sales pitch.
No.
That's just not what we do. I've said I tell this people all the time. If you want a sales pitch, don't call us. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's not what we're after.
Yeah. We have a
we're
pretty good process. It's very benign. It's just Kevin
It
can
is.
lay it
It's,
out.
we're gonna talk to you. We're gonna find out what it is that we can help you with. A typical client that would come in that maybe is not a business owner that's just looking for help. We have a very specific process, and everybody goes through the same process when they come in. Risk profile, interview, talking to them, getting into the weeds about, how are they managing, assets? What are they planning on doing with those assets?
Generational. What do they
How
want
are
to
you,
do?
yeah, what are you doing
Generational
from
paths.
a generational point of view? What are you doing from a, are you philanthropic in nature? Are you planning on, doing trust work? Are you on the higher end of the wealth side? Do you need to do advanced estate planning? So it's laying or asking all those questions, and then depending on which of those questions you sort of check the box on, there's a process for
Right,
so you
right.
enter into a process for every one of those things, and it's the garbage in, garbage out theory. Danny shakes his head. It's the garbage in, garbage out theory. You give us good information, we're going to be able to provide you with exceptional feedback and things and recommendations. And so I think that's one of the, which is not transactional.
Yeah. It's
So
just
it's all
getting to
about
know
the relationship.
the business owner, the prospective client. It's about the relationship, drawing information out to see if we can assist. Most important.
Yeah, a lot of times we identify stuff that the business owner, particularly with a business, that they don't even know about. Like
So we've only got about a minute or two, but
Yeah.
talk about some of those things that they just miss or don't think about that become important the minute they sit down with you.
secession. I mean, for business owners, if you say succession planning, and they look
They
at you
glaze over
and they
with
look at you
what?
like you got 9 heads.
Yeah. And I'll just tell you a real quick story. It is important for succession planning because we have a person in our one of our strategic partners that had planned to leave the business to the son, and the son died unexpectedly, and he has no other family, and his whole plan was based on that son. There was no contingency, and so things happen. Time to plan. Give
Well,
us
in
a call.
my case, literally, we're down to maybe less than 10% of my clients' family members want to own that business. They just don't. They
Yeah, the
don't.
kids
they don't-
aren't interested.
They don't want mom and dad's. They don't want to work as hard as mom and dad did.
Yeah.
We got to go. Thank you both so much.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thanks, Joe.
Infinite Wealth Advisors. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Kevin and Robin, we appreciate you being there. If it's Monday afternoon, say it.
Your business matters.
Yeah.
Ever before. WF.